Alright, here's my cases, and anybody that's been following this thread, you know this motor just got put together not too long ago. 5 tanks of gas, we ran through it, and they took it apart to see how the cylinder was wearing. But I'm going to show you how we clean these things here. You know, 5 tanks of gas, yeah, it's not too bad, but all of this stuff's got to go. You can't do a decent assembly without clean cases. And I'll show you a few tricks as far as getting all of this goop out of here. Probably teach you something new, but anyway, we're going to clean these. We're going to go to the solvent tank. That's the first step. Alright, nothing fancy here. It's just a solvent tank. Some mineral spirits in it. I'm just going to start wiping some of the dirt off. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep everything going this way. I don't want all this stuff washing into the cases, so I'm just going to clean off a bunch of dirt. I won't bore you with a long video of me cleaning cases, but this is how we start it, get the big stuff off. Alright, we got the cases out of the solvent tank. Everything's brushed off, all of the big dirt. If this looks like a dishwasher, that's actually what it is. An old Kenmore here, really old, stainless steel, works really well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some Simple Green in it, and that's going to degrease it. If you notice, I got the inside of the cases down. I want that water pushing up into the bearings. That's going to clean anything that's in there out. The next step, and when we get them out of here, is I'm going to put them back in the solvent tank. Going to run brake cleaner through all of the bearings, a ton of brake cleaner, and then I'm going to hit it with WD-40. When this comes out of water, yeah, there's a chance that your bearings can rust, so that's why we use a WD-40. As soon as we get them out, I don't run the heat cycle on this. As soon as it's done, I pull them out, dry them off, put the WD in. If you're thinking about doing this at your own house, putting them in your mom's dishwasher or your wife's dishwasher, make sure she's on vacation or visiting the mother-in-law, because she's going to get really pissed off. Okay, I got my other crankshaft web here for the flywheel. What I'm going to do is I want to make sure I get a proper fit in the flywheel. I got some lapping compound. I'm going to throw a little bit up here in the shaft. Take my flywheel, put it in here and just grind it around a little bit. Pull it apart, I'll take a look at it. I've got good contact surface everywhere, all the way around. Nice gray line. I'm not going to get any vibration from my flywheel or my crankshaft. Okay, so I got my engine getting cleaned in the dishwasher, and I got all my crankshaft components. I'm confident, everything's set, everything's square. It's going to be a good job. I'm going to go ahead and throw the crankshaft together. Alright, I got my crankshaft assembly done. I don't know how good you can see this, but these needles are not moving at all. Maybe a tenth, but I'm pretty happy with this assembly, so crankshaft's done. Okay, I got my cases out of the dishwasher here. It loosened up a lot of this 1104 case bond. First thing I'm going to do is inside of these holes, this is the left side of your engine case. You bolt come through the bottom, but when you disassemble it, you get all this case bond in here, and it's going to happen. So what I got here is I got just a tap handle. This is a 262 drill. And what I do is I come in here, it's a little bit smaller, but I just kind of drop it in. I move this thing back and forth a little bit, and that's going to pull any case bond out of these holes. The reason I'm doing this is I don't want to find a piece of stray 1104 case bond when I'm putting these together that gets wedged in between here. That's going to be an air leak, and that's going to be bad news. So it's a 262 drill. And I just kind of work the thing up and down, and just taking all the big stuff out of here. It's really, really close to where it has to be. Okay, we got the 1104 case bond cleared out of the holes, the through holes, and what you're going to be tempted to do next, we got to clean this. This is so important that it's so flat. It has to be dead nuts flat across the whole case. You're going to want to use things like this, throw it away, or this is even worse, throw it away. This, you should have to get a license to use one of these. They're that aggressive. Throw that away. Or this. Don't use any of this. Throw this away too. What we're going to use is this and this. Just a regular straight razor. Now you can get into a lot of trouble with one of these if you don't do this right. If you come in like this, you're going to start gouging stuff. What you got to do is try and grab two planes at the same time with almost zero pressure and just start scraping back and forth. Just go, a little bit here. This isn't really taking material. You're just going to take the case bond off. The hard part is when you get into something where you can't get two surfaces, but you just got to use discretion. And we're going to lap these things when we're done anyway. These cases were lapped when I put it together, but you're just going to do a scraping motion this way. You don't want to get in like this. That's absolutely the wrong thing to do. You just want to light pressure and just drag it across. And you're going to pull all of this 1104 case bond off. Just like that. Okay, this is my clutch side of the case. I got the other side cleaned up, got all the 1104 case bond off of it most of the way. Next thing I'm going to do, same problem, 1104 case bond during assembly. It's going to get in here. It's going to get in all the bolt holes. It's going to screw your torque up. Worst case scenario, and probably something nobody really thinks about, is multiple assemblies on an engine. This 1104 case bond will go actually into the bottom of the hole, and it can actually prevent the bolts from torquing up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean out all the threads. I got some Tap Magic here, cutting fluid. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little drop. It doesn't take hardly anything. This is really good stuff. I'm just going to go along and throw a couple drops in every hole. That's it. And then I got a tap. This is a 6mm by 1, and I'm just going to go in really careful. Make sure you catch the original threads. That, again, that case bond is going to get in your way, so there's a little bit of feel involved, but you got to go in, you got to catch those threads, and I'm just going to go in and clean everything out, and I'll get a nice torque on it, and paying attention to the bottom, but I'll show you how to get the bottoms clean in a couple minutes. But you just go in, back up every once in a while, make sure that you're not binding. Worst case scenario, you break one of these taps off in here, boy, you got problems. So you just go in, you start to feel a little resistance, back up a little bit, then bottomed out, and pull your tap out. That's going to clean all your threads out. And you do that on every thread all around the case. I ran my tap down all of these holes, and as you can see, I pulled a lot of gunk out of them. Like we talked about earlier, I want to make sure there's no case bond down inside the bottom of the holes. So nothing fancy here. I got this little pick. I'm just going to reach in there and feel around. That one's good. That one's good. And just go all the way around and make sure you don't have a big slab of case bond. God only knows who put these things together before you got your hands on them. So just go around. This one's pretty good because I put it together. There's nothing in there. So that's it. That case is prepped, and we'll go to our next step.